Henry Thatcher wasn't expecting much from his days anymore. His life had become a rhythm of small routines: tea in the morning, a walk to the mailbox, and long hours spent staring out a window at the world moving on without him. The screen opens with a slow pan of Henry's modest home. Faded photographs line the walls, and the ticking of a clock echoes in the quiet living room. Outside, the frost covered ground sparkles in the morning light. But life has a way of surprising us when we least expect it. And on this winter morning, Henry's quiet world was about to change. Scene shifts to Henry walking to his mailbox. The camera captures his slow, deliberate steps, the cold air making his breath visible. In the distance, a cluster of children gathers around a cardboard box in the park, their voices carrying faintly on the wind. Curiosity pulled Henry toward the commotion. The children were huddled around something small, something fragile. Henry approaches, his cane tapping on the pavement. The children part to reveal the box. Inside is a tiny puppy, trembling and alone. Its big eyes meet Henry's, and the world seems to pause for a moment. "We found him, Mr. Thatcher. Someone just left him here." Henry leans down, his weathered hands resting on his cane as he peers into the box. The puppy whimpers, its small body shivering against the cold. Softly, almost to himself, "Poor thing. Who would do such a thing?" Henry hadn't held anything so small and helpless in years, and as he reached into the box, his heart, long silent, gave a quiet, unexpected stir. Henry picks up the puppy, cradling it against his chest. The children watch with wide eyes as he tucks the tiny creature inside his coat. Henry, gruffly but with a hint of warmth, "Guess I've got room for one more in the house." The children cheer, their laughter filling the air as Henry turns and begins the slow walk home. Snowflakes start to fall, softly blanketing the ground. A montage begins, Henry and the puppy, now named Max, adjusting to life together. Uplifting music plays as the scenes shift rapidly. Max chewing on Henry's slippers, dragging them across the living room while Henry shakes his head. "That's my good pair, you little rascal." Henry trying to walk Max through the park, the puppy bounding ahead excitedly, tugging on the leash. "Slow down, boy. These legs don't work like they used to." Max curled up at Henry's feet by the fire as he reads aloud from an old book. "And they lived happily ever after. Maybe we will too, eh, Max?" One day, during their walk in the park, Henry notices a young boy sitting alone on a bench, his head down. Max, sensing the boy's sadness, trots over and nudges his hand. Max seemed to have a knack for knowing when someone needed him. Just as he'd found Henry, now it seemed he had found someone else. The boy looks up, wiping his eyes, and smiles faintly at Max. Henry approaches slowly, sitting beside the boy. "You all right, lad?" "My dog ran away. I don't think he's coming back." Henry listens quietly, nodding as the boy talks. Max places a paw on the boy's knee, his tail wagging softly. "Dogs have a way of coming back when you least expect them. In the meantime, this little guy seems to like you." The boy smiles, and the three of them sit together for a while, watching the sunset over the park. Other children begin to gather, drawn by Max's playful energy. Henry starts sharing stories, his voice animated and warm. As time passes, Henry becomes a regular fixture in the park. The camera shows him surrounded by children, telling stories as Max plays nearby. Henry had spent years watching life from the sidelines, but thanks to Max, he was part of it again. The lonely old man became the heart of the park, and his tiny companion became everyone's favorite friend. Final scene, Henry sits by the fire, Max curled up in his lap. The camera lingers on the peaceful glow of the room, the snow falling softly outside. Henry looks down at Max, his eyes filled with quiet gratitude. "Thank you, boy, for bringing me back to life." The screen fades to black as the music swells. The sound of Max's soft snoring carries over the credits.